when we all start our journey, good enough feels great because we haven't been used to it. We haven't really achieved good enough in a while. But when we start achieving good enough, we realize that good enough is not what we want.
Welcome to the VetRise Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Perez. My goal is to make success after service accessible to every veteran in society. I believe in the power of leveraging your service, not as a label that defines you, but as a launching pad for your next chapter. What we have been doing has not been working, and it's on us to start changing the culture. Enjoy the episode, and thank you for your time.
All right, gentlemen. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how we can aim for excellence, not just good enough. Today's conversation is obviously going to be aimed at the men that listen to this, the men that not just because they want better for themselves, but they understand that the full picture, when we look at everything in a whole picture, when we work on ourselves and we individually start to make some real changes in our lives and we individually start to progress, when we get promoted at work, when we start being able to wake up with intention, when we can actually provide for our family without wondering where the next meal is going to come from, where we can actually not go to the bottle. We are working on ourselves and striving for excellence. Now, when we strive for it, it doesn't mean we're ever going to attain it. It just means that we are working so hard, relentlessly in the pursuit of it, that mediocrity and good enough will be so far behind you that it won't even be on your radar. Why? Why do we have to work on this? Why do we have to become better than we are now? Well, it's because when you do that, when you work on the process of becoming more than who you are now, you're not playing life to not lose. You're actually playing to win. We're not playing life to be a little bit better. We're actually aiming for freaking excellence. See, your family, your friends, and your future, they depend on it. And you depend on it. You guys are all working on yourselves individually. Obviously, you're here, you're listening to this, you're showing up, you're being present, and you're working on something. But you have to remember that it's all about looking at the big picture, because if you forget your why, if you forget the reason why you're doing all these things that you're doing, it's very easy for you to lose sight. It's very easy for you to remember that, well, in the past, I haven't really gotten the results that I want. And then I lose motivation. Or in the past, when I work hard, I don't really get what I want because of this or that. And then you lose a little bit of that motivation. We have to stay consistent with the process. We have to remember that we're working on something better. We cannot settle for good enough. See, when we all start our journey, good enough feels great because we haven't been used to it. We haven't really achieved good enough in a while. But when we start achieving good enough, we realize that good enough is not what we want. We don't have to be satisfied with just 8,000 steps if we're aiming for 10,000 steps. 3 out of 5 workouts done, when we think about good enough, it's enough. But it's not. It's half-assing the change that you actually want to make and being the same 16 weeks later. Because good enough is not going to get you the results that you want. And when you stay at a job that pays the bills but keeps killing you inside, that is settling. Being mediocre in all areas of life, whether it's a husband or a father, because you're too afraid to open up, is settling. So that's why we're here, because we're not working on just good enough or settling. We are working on being the very best versions of ourselves. We are working on being much more than we ever thought we could be in life. And that's the best part about all this, because it's still there. It's still in our freaking blood. It's still inside of us. And as veterans, as people that have devoted ourselves to our country, we can devote ourselves to ourselves as well. We deserve that. And we have to aim for it. See, excellence is taking the leap, following your gut to start a business or make a connection or do something that you've never wanted to do before. Going to therapy, maybe actually facing your demons and being able to process your pain. That is striving for excellence, because that's not good enough. Good enough is knowing that you have demons, but you don't address them. going all in on your program and aiming to be the baddest motherfucker who hits 10 out of 10 every week. That is aiming for excellence. And you and your family, they need you to be that man. Because right now, when things are hard and you are doing all the right things, then good on you. You guys are showing up for yourselves. But most importantly, you deserve to be that man for yourself. We have to play to win, not avoid losing. See, there's a study where basketball players were observed at a free throw line. Players did a lot better when they were trying to win, when they were down by 1 point, than when they were trying not to lose, when they were tied or ahead by 1 point. The pressure was on. This shows that aiming for victory boosts performance more than just trying to avoid failure. We have to forget that word. We're not trying not to lose. We're aiming to win. Just win. That's the background of my phone right now. It says just win. And that's something that I heard someone talk about on a podcast the other day, Alex Hermosi. And I like it because it reminds you that you're not aiming to not lose. You're aiming to win. Like, that is the only thing that has to be the measurable thing that you use to think about whether or not you are where you want to be. Winning. We have to stop playing it safe. We have to aim for victory. We have to understand there's power in the present. Your power is in the present moment, not in endless planning or dwelling on the past or thinking about what you used to do or what you used to be. You can't change the shit that holds you back, but you can move past it. Being stuck in the cycle of good enough keeps you from thinking beyond what you really can achieve. Now, why do we feel stuck? Why is it that sometimes we feel like we're in this never-ending cycle of being good enough? Well, there's a psychology lesson here. There's a concept known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it's a triangle, and each layer allows you to reach the next. However, each layer is a bottleneck to the next level if you don't have it. And if we look at the actual triangle of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the bottom we have air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. Basic. Safety needs. We need personal security, employment, resources, health, property. Above that, we have love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. And then above that, we have esteem, which has respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. And at the very top, we have self-actualization, which is the desire to become the most that one can be. And we have to remember, we keep leveling up. So when you get to a place in your life when things have been so fucking miserable that you didn't have food, shelter, water, sleep, and clothing, when you get to a place where you have that, you have achieved that level, then you can work on your personal security, your employment, resources, health, property. And when you get that, you can start working on your love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. And then we have esteem, work on your self-respect, your status, your recognition, your strength, your freedom. And then we have self-actualization, which is what we all need to aim for. That desire to become the most that one can be. Moving past trauma and struggles lets you think and act at a higher level. You literally cannot reach the next level without dealing with your shit. Unless you realize that your shit is holding you back and you keep replaying this story in your head about how it's affecting you and it keeps being the reason why you can't, maybe you just didn't have the resources or the skill level back then, but now you do. Each level feeds into the other. You aim for good enough because you need to work through shit to evolve. And how do we reach that higher consciousness? The quickest way to level up is to start practicing meditation, or at least doing deep breathing or journaling or being mindful with what is the thing that is mentally holding you back. You need to change your perspective. In order to change your reality, it doesn't just happen overnight. Get your sleep, meditate, and focus on one thing at a time to enhance your self-intuition. What is the thing that is holding you back subconsciously so you can consciously make a decision to do something about it? Your best breakthroughs come from moments of stillness and clarity. We have to set the intention for excellence, gentlemen. Approach every task with an unshakable determination. No matter how small or how large it is, treat it as if it is the most important task of your day, and I promise you, everything will get easier with time. Set the intention each day to make it exceptional. No more half measures. And honor. Honor is your self-respect in action. Live true to your principles, keep your word, and realize that you need to rely on yourself. But you can also rely on others. Rely on each other. You're not alone. Too many times we feel like as men we need to be alone and we need to be this pillar of silence and excellence, but it doesn't have to be that way. We can help each other. Push each other to be great. You're not alone. Lean on your brothers for support and challenge each other to reach new heights. Together you can achieve more than you ever could alone. It's your time. If you're ready to live a life of excellence, then commit to it. And excellence doesn't mean being excellent at everything. It doesn't mean being perfect. It just means understanding that when you have your weak moments, when you have a moment of being who you used to be, you need to intentionally shut it down by changing your perspective and understand that you're in a different place now. Like, be open, talk about it, write a post about it. Tell us how you're going to live a life of excellence. What are you going to do to change? What are you going to do to start working through this? Show me. And that's how we do it, boys. That's how we make a change. Thank you for your time.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the VetRise Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, made you think, or simply gave you hope, I have a small favor to ask. Share it with just one veteran or someone you think could benefit from my message. Your share could light a spark for them. You don't know who you might save. For more insights and to join our mission, follow my socials at JP the Veteran Coach and explore how we can rise together. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this journey, and for believing in the power of rising together. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep rising, and never forget that we are stronger together. My name is Juan Perez, and thank you for your time.